Hello, my sunshine, and welcome to a new episode of the Hot Girl Morning podcast. I am so excited to have you here. In all honesty, the reason that I'm recording this episode is a bit different than usual because yesterday I was basically putting up an Instagram story where I asked my audience how they are currently feeling, and the overwhelming percentage and the overwhelming amount of people were basically clicking on the poll and telling me that they feel stressed and overwhelmed and just like kind of okay, but not really happy, grateful, calm, present, and all these kinds of emotions. So I thought maybe it's time to do another one of these episodes where it's like, listen to this when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, because I feel like we're transitioning in to a different season. It's getting cold, it's getting cozy. I think a lot of people often struggle with this time switch and just, I don't know, the season's changing, and a lot of you seem to not feel their best. And in all honesty, yesterday I was also struggling a bit, but before we get into this, there will be a tiny part now, which will be my little life update, which will be connected to the topic that we're going to talk about. And if you know my podcast for some time, you know I often like to take this book and open it at a random page to give you basically a sign from the universe. So before we get into this, let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you're watching the video version of this podcast, I am now in Austria. I'm now in Vienna. I'm right now in my little tiny, really cute apartment, and I have moved. So I was living before in northern Italy, and now I'm here in Vienna, and I will stay there until like the end of the year. And so the time has been really intense. If you have been listening to my last episode on this podcast, it was a bit all over the place. I was sick. It was like the day before moving. There was just a lot of things going on. And now I have been here for a couple of days and it has been beautiful. I had a really good time with my partner. We're getting settled in. We did a big grocery shop and all of that. But to be really honest with you, it still feels unreal to be here. And if you don't know, after high school, I was already living in Vienna for 4 years. And then basically I got into that whole digital nomad life and I was traveling more, and it didn't make sense to keep my apartment in Vienna. And I basically moved back to my hometown, and I was there in between like travels for 2 years. And now I'm back in Vienna, which is something that is really interesting to, as someone who has lived here before, but it was also for some time now now I have been like this small town girl again, and now I'm in a big city again. It's just interesting. Something that I'm really, really excited about is the fact that I have here my best friend, and a lot of close friends still are living here. And this is something that I was missing so much before. So I feel like right now, the overwhelming excitement of, oh my God, I'm in Vienna, it feels so good, hasn't hit me yet. I'm like happy, calm, still getting used to things. And it's just a lot of, I don't know, it's good, but it's just, I feel like I need to take some time to connect with myself, to connect with my goals again, to feel more centered. Because I think what I haven't been feeling yet is like feeling really centered, especially like with things in my business going on and trying to figure things out. I feel like I'm really excited for that. Okay, let's settle in kind of feeling, and feeling home. I already feel kind of home, but okay. Let's stop this whole ramble, but I'm now living in Vienna. That's a bit of an update out of my life. And yesterday I was laying on a couch, supposed to do some work, kind of struggling to get things done because the Wi-Fi was not working yet, and yada, yada, yada. And basically I realized, if I'm honest with myself, I feel quite stressed and overwhelmed right now. I don't know exactly where it is coming from, but I think it is a feeling of not feeling in control of my life and feeling a bit of unease. It's more like this feeling of life is happening to me rather than I am in control and aware of my life, and I'm taking decisions consciously. Because I think it's a fun fact. Yesterday I had a kickoff call with new clients, and basically I also shared with them that it is okay to pause. It is okay to relax. But I think the important part about that is that it should be your conscious decision that you're doing that. If you're spending every day just on your couch, scrolling on your phone, and you don't feel like you are in control of your life, I think this is where a problem kicks in. But enough said about all of that. I'm going to take now this book, which is called Living with Joy, Keys to Personal Power and Spiritual Transformation from Sanea Roman. If you're actually watching the video version, you can see the book right now in my hands. And I will just open up a random page and see what message is meant to find you today. Okay, we have a couple of affirmations for you. Okay. I pause often to link with my soul and receive its energy and light. I take time to think before I act. I have a positive, optimistic outlook. I love feeling balanced. I stay balanced and in my center at all times. My emotions are calm like a clear mountain lake. I do those things that allow me to accomplish my purpose with joy. I release the need for acknowledgement, recognition, or praise to feel good about myself. My personal and spiritual growth is a priority for me in my life. I am growing and expanding every day. I am strong and capable. I am creative and wise. Oh, that was beautiful. As always, I am just obsessed with this book. And I think the affirmation that I liked, especially for this episode, is I pause often to link with my soul and receive its energy and light. Because if we're talking about feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed, I think that often comes from a lack of awareness and clarity with where you're at and with where you want to go, as well as this feeling of just being in that hamster wheel that is turning and not being able to see life from a different perspective. And I know there's just times where we're feeling stressed, there's an exam coming up, or whatever is coming up, but I think it is still important to take that time to kind of pause, to reflect, to connect with ourselves. Because I think if we don't pause for some moments, we do not feel connected to ourselves and to our hearts. So, this is today for anyone who is feeling stressed and overwhelmed. I first want to invite you to take a deep breath and recognize that it is okay to feel stressed and to feel overwhelmed. You have probably a lot of deadlines or a lot of things that are taking your energy, which then create that feeling of overwhelmness and stress, basically. And it is important to recognize that you have probably reasons why you feel that way, so we're not going to downplay anything. And yes, I think it's possible to, no matter in what situation, to still feel present and whatever. But it is also important to recognize that there's probably a reason for you to feel that way. And something that I have already mentioned to you in one of my previous episodes that is basically, I believe that we humans go through different kind of phases, the way nature is going through different phases, and we're now heading into fall, and fall is a different energy, and you cannot expect always the same amount of energy or the same kind of energy 365 days a year. And for now, let's take a deep breath. Know that you're safe, you're loved, you are protected, and you will figure out whatever it is that you need to figure out. step by step, day by day. You may not have the answers today, but you may have a part of the answer already tomorrow. Who knows? With this episode, I want to help you to kind of ground yourself, connect with the present moment, as well as get some more clarity with where you're currently at, how you're feeling, what's going on, so that we have like this deeper connection to ourselves and that we can see our situation from a different perspective. I think this is actually, with that whole self-improvement thing, one of the most powerful things you can do, which is changing your perspective, really changing your perspective on your problems, on life. Because if you can really like take that step back and see the bigger picture, it takes a bit the pain away. If you see challenges and hard times as something that is amazing and good for your journey, because this is what will get you to where you need to go, and also what will help you to develop mentally in such a beautiful way, this can be very, very helpful. Something that, I don't know, have I mentioned this in the last episode? Maybe not. Your chance of being born is 1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion, okay? It is as you would have won the lottery already like a million times. Okay, I'm not that good in math. I cannot tell you like the exact times, but what I'm trying to tell you, the fact that you are on this earth, that you get to hear my voice, that you get to understand my voice or this language, the fact that you have access to internet, the fact that you are alive, that you have people around you that support you, that love you, even though you maybe sometimes don't feel it or see it. You have people around you. The fact that somehow nature was able to create us humans. Like if I think about the biology of us humans, like just the fact that we are born and we get to like have consciousness and all, like this is just crazy. You are a gift to the world. The fact that you exist is a gift. And I want you to learn to recognize life as a gift. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are hard times. But it is a gift to be alive and to be able to feel all the emotions. To be able that your body is telling you when something is too much, when something is overwhelming you. Like this is something good. It is something good that your body is telling you, hey, you need to pause for a second because you feel overwhelmed. And something that we often like to do when we get into this feeling overwhelmed, instead of doing the things that we feel overwhelmed by that would help us to get over it, we sometimes like to procrastinate and then just, scroll on our phones or do stuff to not think about what we actually need to think about. And the hard part about all of that is that your body will help you feel more and more stressed and overwhelmed until you finally get it done. In all honesty. So sometimes what you're looking for is how to stop feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Sometimes it is really about making the decisions, doing the things that are stressing you out. This may not be able to be applicable to every single situation on this earth, but a lot of times we feel overwhelmed and stressed about things that we haven't done yet, that we have procrastinated, that we're scared of doing, and maybe there's a big decision that you need to make. And first and foremost, when we're talking about making decisions in your life, I don't think that it is always the best decision to just say, okay, right now decide between doing this or that, or whatever. I don't know what situation you're in. I don't think that is necessarily always the best choice. It is important to first gather all the information that you need and then to make a Really a decision that is connected to your heart and connected to the facts that you know about your situation. So what I like to do very much is, for example, I recognize if I have to make a decision, or I recognize if there's like a task that I need to get done. And instead of shaming myself for not doing it right now, if you make it a conscious decision that, let's say, right now, you don't feel like you have the capacity to make this decision. Or right now, you feel like you don't have all the information to make that decision. Or there is something lacking for you to make that decision right now. You can consciously decide to not make this decision right now. You can consciously decide to feel within and realize, okay, right now, I don't feel like I have the capacity, I have the knowledge, I have whatever it is to make this decision. So for this week, I am allowing myself to not think about this topic anymore. Or this week, I decide I will take 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, to consciously gather more information or to really reflect about something, about this whole situation, and then try to make a decision. I think the thing that is then always taking so much of our energy is if we think about it 24/7 and we cannot stop our minds from worrying about that. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're making it a conscious decision to not make this decision right now, is so much healthier than to just postpone things and scroll and procrastinate and do all those things. Another thing that I want to share with you right now, or more, it's like a journal prompt, it's a question. I want you to reflect right now, what is the reason that you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed right now? What is it about your situation that you're not happy about? Because often we're honestly not even that aware. So I really like to take pen and paper and sometimes really like brain dump everything out. So I want you to really try to recognize right now, why do you feel stressed and overwhelmed in this moment? What is it? What is it that is taking so much of your energy? Okay. And now I want you to think, is there a part of this whole situation that you are in control of? What is it that you are in control of this situation that you're not happy about, or that you feel stressed or overwhelmed about? I feel like there are two parts to this whole story. On one hand, we often have kind of like there's this coworker that is really stressing me out, blah, blah, blah. So there's like maybe the situation of, okay, I cannot change this human, or I cannot change, let's say, the whole world because society is working in a specific way, or like whatever was happening. But there are two parts to this. So on one hand, the thing that happened, the circumstance that you may or may not be able to have control over. And on the other hand, we have your mindset, we have your thoughts, we have your beliefs. And the beautiful part of it all is that the mindset, the thoughts, the beliefs, this is something that you are in control of. This is something that you are in control of. I am not saying that you can make every situation or circumstance that is not good something that is happy and super and nice and exciting and all that. Even though, like, I don't think that would be a healthy way to handle things, because then we're getting into toxic positivity. But just to be aware that you are in control of your thoughts, of your mindset, and how you're handling these hard situations. So let's say you feel stressed, you feel overwhelmed, there is just a lot of things on your plate, and there are just a lot of deadlines that you cannot change, that you cannot miss. What if you would change the mindset that you have towards this issue? What if you would change the mindset? So let's say that you would see this hard situation as, okay, this is a challenge, but I am up for it. I can go through this, and then I will have my learnings for afterwards? How can you see this challenge or whatever you're going through as something that is supporting you, as something that is happening for you? I think that is a very key part of it all. Life is happening for you. And can you have that mindset or change your belief to realize whatever it is that is happening right now, that it is happening for you? Okay? So what we have done now is we have connected to the present moment. We have done a bit of grounding. We have realized where our stress, our overwhelm is coming from. I shared with you some information on how to make decisions and feel better about it. And now it's about time to take the action steps accordingly. So what are the things that you are in control of and what are the things that you need to get done? So on one hand, it is like, how can you improve your mindset? How can you improve your thoughts, your beliefs, whatever it is that are making your situation 10 times worse? How can you change that? And then reflect about that. And then really think about your situation in general. What are you in control of and what can you do to make your current state better? What is it that you need? As mentioned before, I think we often get into this day-to-day life where we feel stressed and so many things are happening. So it's so important that we create that space within the day to connect to the present moment, to kind of reflect, to relax, to do all these kinds of things. And honestly, it doesn't have to take like an hour of meditation. I think it's one of the recent episodes I did like 5 unique habits to help you transform your life, something like that. And I have shared there a couple of really, really powerful habits that will help you do exactly that. And they can take like 10 seconds or 2 minutes and will help you already to ground yourself and help you to see that different perspective, this bigger picture, basically, to help you go through these times of feeling overwhelmed and feeling stressed. Okay. As always, this was again an episode where I just shared whatever came to my mind. I did not do a lot of planning, but I still hope that this was really, really valuable to you. Know that you're so capable to go through this situation. You're honestly so capable, and big things are waiting for you, and life is happening for you, and you got this step by step, day by day. If you need any more additional support, feel free to message me over on Instagram at greta.webhofer, at greta.webhofer, and you can just send me a DM there and tell me what you need support on, because of course this episode was more like generalized advice, but maybe there is something specific that I can help you with. But for now, thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you next week.